Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a session on polity and governance. I hope I'm audible as well as visible. Great, audible and visible. We'll wait for a couple of minutes, let others join, and we'll begin our session for the day. In the meantime, questions from polity, I'm all up for it, right? Mm, good evening, everyone. Yes, after such a long time, of course, yes, that's true. Okay. So let's begin now. Just to begin with a small poll. How many of you are taking the prelims this year? Please, A for yes, B for no. How many of you are taking prelims this year? A for yes, B for no. Who typed D? Okay, a lot of you are taking prelims this year. That's great. Great to know that. And I hope that the preparation is going on well. The time right now is all about revision and solving mock tests, right? Questions, as many practice questions as possible. Okay. Okay, so let's begin. Today we have certain topics at hand, largely because we have elections around the corner, and also we have what is called the model code of conduct in place. This means what? This means that we don't really have a lot of government schemes, programs, etc., being done. Every minister is involved largely in campaigning, including our prime minister. So we will focus largely on some developments in the Supreme Court before Supreme Court closes for its summer vacation, right? Uh, PM violated MCC. Interesting. Deep Shikha, what is your view on the Prime Minister's speech and MCC violation? Hmm. We'll discuss that towards the end largely. Let's not start the class on such a heavy note, right? Okay. So we'll begin. First up is a topic that recently became news. So, we have something called Article 21, that is a right to life and liberty. And Supreme Court recently said that right to be free from adverse effects of climate change is also a part of Article 14 and Article 21, right? So very interesting observation by Supreme Court with extreme focus on recognizing the right to for us to be free from the negative adverse, meaning negative effects of climate change. So the story basically starts from this case of the great Indian bustard. You know, India had its obligations towards uh, climate change. We have to cut down on the carbon emission. For that, what is required? We need to, look into the aspect, a very important aspect of some renewable sources of energy. Yes or no? This would mean dependence on solar energy, wind energy, etc. Now, in line of that, what we have done is we have utilized this especially towards the western part of a country. You see Gujarat, you see Rajasthan, where we have utilized the solar energy. And then the electricity generated is transmitted through supply lines. Now, what happens is when you have all these transmission lines all across, something like this transmission lines, these birds, these great Indian bustard, the bird, what it does and what happens is that these birds sometimes when they are flying are not able to notice the presence of these transmission lines in their flight path. Low light conditions, right, during the dawn, during dusk, and also the limited visibility of these lines. So what happens, these birds fly, they come too close and are not able to change their flight path. They collide and they lose life, they die. So recently the Supreme Court had come down heavily on the Rajasthan and Gujarat government last year, stating that please install something called bird diverters. This is a bird diverter. Okay, so it is basically a device. And what is the task of this device? The task is what? To install these diverters. Everywhere you can see here, all these are bird diverters on transmission lines. So when the bird flies, it can see these diverters. It can see these diverters dangling on the transmission lines. These diverters dangle, they sway, they rotate, they swing simultaneously, and also have reflectors showcasing its presence. Birds can see that, they can change their flight path. Beyond this, again, Supreme Court was very angry and upset that the government is not serious about it, and that is why a committee was finally appointed. Now, so you have to understand that this matter had come up a few months ago, where a three-judge bench had constituted an expert committee to examine the scope, the feasibility, and also the extent of installing these overhead and also underground power lines in areas which are considered priority for the conservation of the great Indian bustard. Because ultimately you have to understand that we cannot do away with solar energy. It has to be done. And in April 2021, the Supreme Court had given some blanket direction that you have to do away with these low voltage power lines and high voltage power lines. However, the center said that my lords, this is not possible. Come on, be serious about it. We have to also meet our carbon footprint obligations, right? So Supreme Court said that because the center said that we have to have a balance. The issue of protection of the GIB, the Great Indian Bustard, with India's international commitment to reduce its carbon footprint. And center said that see, installing solar panels is very crucial to India's obligation towards international commitments. So Supreme Court said that see, it is better to leave this to the experts, and then the Supreme Court framed a committee. But recently, a very interesting observation was made by Supreme Court that come what may, we have to also ensure that right to healthy environment, right to healthy environment is a very integral part of Article 21 and also Article 14. Because see, if climate change and environmental degradation lead to acute food and water shortages in a particular area, poorer communities will suffer more than the richer ones, right? And the right to equality would undoubtedly be impacted in each of these instances. In fact, court also cited examples of how indigenous groups and all these forest dwellers who could lose their homes and culture because of their way of life, because their way of life is so closely linked to land and to resources. Right? To strengthen this, the court said that in fact, they gave examples that the tribal population in the Nicobar Island still leads a very traditional life. And the court gave a lot of examples that how these traditional lives led by these indigenous communities are more dependent on land than the supposed urban population. And it is imperative that states or countries like India, that we uphold the obligation under international laws, including the responsibilities to mitigate greenhouse gas emissions, adapt to climate impacts, and protect the fundamental rights of all individuals to live in a healthy and sustainable environment. In the past as well, Supreme Court has given lot of judgments widening the scope of Article 21. Before we move on to explain this particular judgment, I'd like to ask some questions. This was a question asked in 2021, where Supreme Court wanted us to uh, at least respond on what kind of right is right to privacy. I'll launch a poll, and please answer your questions 15 seconds only. It's a very easy one. Please respond quickly. Absolutely correct. Right to privacy is protected under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. It was said by Supreme Court in the which case? Puttaswamy case of 2017. So Supreme Court keeps on widening the scope of our fundamental rights. One more question. Solve this one as well. Again, I'll give you just 15 seconds for it. Okay, fair enough. Which article of the Constitution of India safeguards one's right to marry the person of one's choice? So, this was again a result of a court case known as the Hadia case of 2018, where Supreme Court said that the right to marry somebody of your own choice is actually a part of Article 21. Of course, the condition is that the other person also should want to marry you, right? So, B is the right answer. So now, in the recent times, there have been some modifications with respect to right to marry. So, as we had discussed in the class as well, that recently Supreme Court said that right to marry, of course, is there, but it is subject to the laws of the country. In a case where the Supreme Court said that the right of LGBT communities to marry in the same gender, that is something that the parliament should decide. But in 2018, Supreme Court had said, and the question was asked in 2019, so it was a part of Article 21. So similarly, in this MK Ranjit Singh case of 2024, Supreme Court said that right to a healthy environment is something that encapsulates the principle that every individual has this entitlement to live in an environment that is clean, that is safe, and conducive to their well-being. In fact, the right to equality under Article 14, right, equality before law, and the right to life under Article 21 must be appreciated in the context of the decision of this court. The actions and the commitments of the state on the national and international level, and also a scientific consensus on climate change and its adverse effects. From these, it emerges that there is a right to be free from the adverse effects of climate change. Okay, So now this is also a part of Article 14 as well as Article 21, because you have to understand, it is important to note that also, while giving effect to this right, the courts must also be alive to other rights of affected communities, such as the right against displacement and other such rights. And of course, while balancing two equally crucial goals, the conservation of the great Indian bustard on one hand, with the conservation of the environment as a whole on the other hand, it is necessary to adopt a more holistic approach, which does not sacrifice either of these two goals, right? So this is the recent judgment. Such judgments are very important for the examination. You'll have very simple questions, like I just showed these questions, very easy to understand. You can directly choose the answer from here. But yes, you have to understand it. Solve this question, please. I'll take up your questions. Let me just finish the topic and then I'll take up your questions. Okay. 30 seconds. It's an easy question. So please. Absolutely correct. The Which of the following are sources for this right? Article 14 and Article 21. A is the right answer. In the past, we have had a mains question also from this very topic, or a very similar kind of topic. This was one question: the most significant achievement of modern law in India is the constitutionalization of environmental problems by the Supreme Court. Discuss this statement with the help of relevant case laws. Right. So we have to mention these case laws as well. Right. For example, you have the very famous MC Mehta case. MC Mehta, a very popular activist. In fact, this case was of 1986. If you have not heard of it, it is called the oleum gas leak case, which was one of the early instances where Supreme Court laid down something called absolute liability principle for hazardous industries. The court held that any industry which is engaged in hazardous activities owes an absolute and non-delegable duty to the community to ensure that no harm results from this case, also known as the oleum case. Then we had the Ganga pollution case of 1987, where the Supreme Court ordered the closure of all those tanneries that were polluting the river Ganga, right? So we have the Ganga pollution case, which was of 1987. Very, these are landmark cases, or the famous Taj Mahal case. So, mind you, in all these cases, the litigant was MC Mehta. So, in this Taj Mahal case, also called the Taj Trapezium case, where Supreme Court ordered the closure of industries around the Taj Mahal to protect it from environmental degradation. In fact, the court again emphasized the importance of sustainable development and the need to balance, economic development with environmental protection. What has happened recently? The great Indian bustard is losing its life because of these transmission lines in the various parts of our country, the western parts of our country, Rajasthan and Gujarat. So, should we stop using solar energy completely? Of course not, because the solar energy has to be used to protect our environment. So, we have to find a balance. Saving lives of birds and also upholding the fact that people need and deserve a clean environment. Similarly, of course, economic development is very important. We have to balance it with environmental protection. Then we had I mean, it's a not so popular case called the Vellore Citizen Welfare Forum case of 1996, where Supreme Court gave this concept of precautionary principle, or you must have heard of it, called the polluter pays principle, right? The court said that this precautionary principle should be applied in cases where there's a threat of serious or irreversible environmental damage, and polluter has to bear the cost of pollution control measures, right? Or more recently, we had the very famous Arjun Gupta case, where Supreme Court ordered the ban of firecrackers, right? Became a cause of concern with respect to the religious angle. Or the BS 6 norms, Bharat State 6 norms, right? Again, the MC Mehta case of 2018, where the Supreme Court said that all the vehicles have to align with the new Bharat Stage 6 norms, the vehicular emission standards. So mention these cases, write about these things. That's it, right? So you have to understand and keep a track of the case names also, right? That's why I have mentioned the case name, because normally the newspapers won't carry the name of the case. So it's important, because for the prelims perspective, not required. But for the mains, you're quoting the name has an impact on your answer. Okay, that's it. Beyond this, before we finish our discussion, a small extension on this. This is irrelevant, guys. This. So again, just recently, after this judgment came into picture, we had one more observation by the Supreme Court. It was the Abdul Qasim versus State of Telangana. So I'm sure this is something that you would not be reading it. Recently, a report was published by RBI that was titled "Report on Currency and Finance Towards a Greener, Cleaner India." Let me just use a blank slide for it. So, this is Abdul Qasim case. Please follow. 2024. So, as I was saying, that recently RBI had published a report called Report on Currency and Finance Towards a Greener, Cleaner India 22-23, which the court said presented a very disturbing scenario in the country. In fact, the report clearly suggests that there's an enormous potential impact of climate change on the society, leading to serious job losses in every sector. Therefore, the adverse effect will be on the future of nation as a whole, as against a group. In fact, just to tell you some pointers from the report, GDP impact by 2050. They had said that because of climate change, the climate change could reduce India's GDP by 2.8%. Reduction in GDP by 2.8% by 2050, right? And this is primarily due to the rising temperatures, shifting monsoon patterns affecting nearly half of the population's living standards. And in fact, we'll also witness a long term GDP loss by 2100. Of course, we won't be alive to see this, right? So, need not worry. But by 2100, India might lose between 3 to 10% of its annual GDP if no effective mitigation measures are taken, right? So, might lose. See, I'm saying it might lose. So, because the report said it might lose 3 to 10% of annual GDP if no steps are taken. Then, of course, there are certain vulnerable sectors also. Indian agriculture, construction, industry sectors are there. And we also will face job losses from heat stress. India could represent 34 million of the estimated 80 million job losses by 2030 due to productivity declines from heat stress. This is World Bank data. World Bank 2022 report says that India will face 34 million of the total 80 million global job losses by the next 6 years. And of course, we have a GDP risk by 2030. In fact, World Bank said that up to 4.5% of India's GDP could be jeopardized by 2030 because of this labor loss. Just today, we are discussing right now, today one not former, a current minister only, he I think fainted in one rally, heat stroke, because of the rising temperature. Nitin Gadkari, if you saw the news today. So of course these things are a concern, right? So this is also one very important judgment where Supreme Court has again said that it's very important to ensure that people have clean environment, right? Okay. Anyway, in the line of what Supreme Court has said, again, just to point out one very interesting case. So we all know what is Article 142, right? Article 142. Article 142. Please tell me, what is Article 142? Yes, complete justice, absolute power, etc. So Article 142 says that Supreme Court can give any decision, any order on any matter pending before it, if the purpose is to ensure what? Complete justice. And this is what we normally say is what? Is the source of judicial activism, along with Article 32 and Article 226. So recently there was a case. What was the case was that there was a 14-year-old rape survivor who was pregnant. So I hope you're aware that we have a law called MTP, Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act of 1971. This law enables the termination of certain pregnancies by registered medical practitioner. What is this registered medical practitioner? Doctors. Okay, don't be confused. It's doctors. Now, in 2021, there was a modification made in this particular amendment. And what was that? The gestation limit for abortion was increased from 20 to 24 weeks. So earlier, you could have an abortion uh, up to 20 weeks into pregnancy. Now it has been increased to 24 weeks. Of course, see, for pregnancies up to 20 weeks, you have to get the opinion of one doctor, but for pregnancies between 20 to 24 weeks, you have to get the opinion of two doctors. Clear? Now, see, beyond 24 weeks, also termination is allowed, but only under very specific conditions requiring a proper medical board to be set up. And in fact, the 2021 modification which was made specifies categories also where pregnancies can be terminated post 24 weeks, and those are minors who are rape survivors, women with disabilities, cases of sexual assault or incest. Incest basically means uh, sexual relationship amongst family members, right? And also changes in the marital status during pregnancy, right? So Supreme Court actually used its special powers and allowed for the termination of pregnancy of a 14-year-old rape survivor, which was crossing the legal limits under the law. One more example of how Supreme Court uses Article 142 to protect dignity, autonomy, and also confidentiality. ensuring justice for women needing late terminations, right? This case, so normally these cases don't have names because it's a rape survivor. So the case was known as A versus Maharashtra. So of course, A was not fighting; it was mother of the victim. 2024. So you see, this is one more example which you can use in your judicial activism questions to quote that. See, Supreme Court also ensures that through its powers, it is not only causing trouble for the government. That's not the only concern, but sometimes good things also come out of it. Like this one, where Supreme Court used its better sense to ensure the protection of dignity and autonomy of women. Right. So that's Article 142. Okay. Questions and doubts, if you have any, please. Questions. Oh, who is uh, Himil? Wait, who is this Himil? Contact me. What is exact issue? Are you asking me the issue? We have Himil bombarding the entire scene. Indra. Indra says that, sir, I have one doubt regarding to polity. I am from Andhra Pradesh. In my state, CM releases the scholarship for students before election notification release. We are since not received the scholarship. They said money is not created because of election code. Please explain it, sir. So, guys, here, please tell me. Somebody says that money has not been received because election code has been activated. What is this election code that we are talking about? Tell me. Any idea? Okay, Aditya, Femina, Aditya, Shubhangi, Chandrasekhar, Vidhi, Ravi, Chandan, Himanshu, Dheeraj, my UPSC. Great. This is called the Model Code of Conduct. Okay, for Himil, do you guys just a minute? Himil, do you want to be a part of this class or you want to be thrown out? What kind of language is this? Who is this fellow? You're here to learn, right? Behave. I mean, a lot can be seen by the responses you type. Anyway, so model code of conduct. Guys, one more thing. Model code of conduct is launched or rather comes into force from what date? Date of announcement of elections or date of notification? Tell me. Date of announcement of elections, the date on which election commission announces the election schedule. From that date onwards, model code of conduct comes into force. Government is not allowed to launch new schemes, programs, etc., because it negatively impacts fair play, right? It is done to ensure that the elections are conducted in a free and fair and transparent manner. And somebody had mentioned about Narendra Modi's violation of MCC. So we are not in a situation to take that particular issue. But I mean, to be very frank and fair, he simply quoted what was mentioned by a former prime minister in one of his speeches to the uh, in one meeting that took place. So if you go and read the speech, uh, he simply has picked up a line from there and has quoted it. So I mean, I'm not really sure if can be seen as completely violative of MCC, but then again, it is for the election commission officials to decide, right? And these things are bound to happen, right? Every politician here and there is going to make such speeches which are going to test the boundaries of the model code of conduct, right? You can just observe how our politicians are going to cross these boundaries at regular intervals, whether it is the top politicians or the lower level ones. It does not really matter. Anyway. uh, 142 can be used only by the Supreme Court. Ravindra Babu. So Indra, doubt is explained. See, I mean, Indra, to be very frank here, the money could have been released, but the point is they find MCC as a very interesting excuse also not to do things. That's also there. Deepshika Muhammad Kazim. No, in the Muhammad Kazim case, the Supreme Court just looked into the RBI's report. RBI had recently published a report, and Supreme Court was giving its observation on that particular report that was released by RBI with respect to the declining environmental concerns or climate change in our country. That's it. Are there any penalties for violating model code of conduct? Yes, you will not be allowed to campaign for a couple of days. That's the penalty, right? Also, one more thing. There are some minor monetary fines also. That's it. Can ECI file FIR? No, 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 no. That's not possible. Yes, Shriyank, it does allow even after 24 weeks. Okay. Did EC come up? The model code of conduct was prepared by election commission along with the political parties in consultation with political parties. This has been there since 1970s, 1974. But the origin of these codes was in Kerala in 1960s. Not required to mug up all the MCC provisions. Don't worry. Yes, Nikhil, you can quote this. Uh, have you voted? No, voting in my constituency will happen mid May. So I have not voted yet. Model code of conduct continues from the date of announcement till the date of what? Till the date of declaration of result. Aditya, sir, should the use of 142 be in line with the existing laws? Not required, not necessary. See, if it is in line with the existing laws, then how will the Supreme Court be able to break the shackles of limitations of law? It can go beyond the existing laws also. That's the beauty of it. Okay. Okay. Moving on to the next topic at hand. I know the country is in elections. We are all into elections. By the way, today is 24th of April. Just to remind you, it's the National Panchayati Raj Day. That's also there. Okay. So, second question. Appeal against an order of CAT on contempt matters lies before Supreme Court. What is CAT? Tell me. Central Administrative Tribunal. So, for all our innocent people here, including the very angry and upset, where is that now that Himil is not responding? So, that very angry and upset Himil, once you become an IS officer, but if you continue this behavior, I highly doubt it. So, please change that behavior, right? And so, once you become an IS, IPS officer, or any government employee, and you have any problem with respect to your joining, your selection, your salaries, your promotions, etc., you can approach a body called CAT. This body is framed under a law called Administrative Tribunals Act of 1985, Because through the 42nd Amendment Act of the year 1976, what has happened? The Parliament has been given the power under Article 323A to create tribunals for the center, that is called CAT, and for states also, called SAT, State Administrative Tribunal. Okay. So, through these provisions, tribunals can be created, and we have formed tribunals, right? Now, just to clarify, if let us say your salary has been stopped by the government because you are too honest, no, sorry, because you are dishonest, let's assume that you approach CAT, you complain to CAT, file a case. CAT is a tribunal, a quasi judicial, a semi judicial body. Now, if the CAT gives an award which you don't like, please tell me, where do you go? To High Court, Supreme Court, or is it a final verdict? Tell me. Originally, the law said that the awards of these tribunals can be challenged only in Supreme Court. But in 1997, which was the judgment? Please, innocent people. Yes, absolutely correct. Shavik, Deepshikha, very good. Vibhu, Kirtana, excellent. L. Chandrakumar case. Supreme Court said that high courts also have the power to take up appeals against the decisions of CAT. So, first appeal goes to High Court. Second appeal, that is a final appeal, of course, goes to Supreme Court. This is there, right? So, this is about CAT. So, 323A empowers the parliament to frame laws for these tribunals, right? Now, under these provisions, there is also a provision. And what is a provision? The provision is that Section 14 of the Administrative Tribunals Act provides that unless expressly provided in the law, the CAT shall exercise on and from the appointed day all the jurisdiction, powers, and authority exercisable immediately before that day by all courts except Supreme Court. Let me explain this point. Let us say CAT gives an order. You have to follow this order, right? If you don't follow the order of CAT, what happens? Please tell me. If you don't follow the orders of court, what are you doing? You are causing what? Very good. You are causing a civil contempt of court. Civil contempt of court. Civil contempt of court means what? Means knowingly, willfully disobeying the lawful order of the court. So you are basically causing contempt of court. Similarly, if CAT issues an order, you don't follow the order, it is what? Causing contempt of the CAT. Now, CAT issues a contempt notice against you. That you have not followed the order. If you want to challenge this contempt notice, where can you challenge it? Tell me. In High Court or Supreme Court? Only in Supreme Court. Herein lies the difference. Only in Supreme Court. So, just to clarify, when orders of CAT are issued, you can challenge those orders in High Court. But if cat issues a contempt notice against you for not following some order, that contempt can be challenged only in Supreme Court. I'll repeat once again. The awards of cat, awards meaning judgments, orders, in High Court, then Supreme Court. But contempt notice of cat in Supreme Court only. This is a point of difference. In fact, recently in Dr. B.S. Chauhan case, Supreme Court has clarified that an appeal against an order of cat while exercising its contempt power can be taken up by Supreme Court only. Please remember this particular point. It can be a very easy and simple question in your prelims examination. Also remember that cat has powers to punish for contempt. It is mentioned in the Administrative Tribunals Act also, because normally contempt of court can be issued by court of what? Tell me. Court of records. Which two courts are called court of records? Quickly. Which two courts in India are known as court of records? And don't write that, just write the article also. Supreme Court and High Courts. Supreme Court Article 129 Court of Records, High Court Article 215 Court of Records. Okay, that's it. In fact, Section 19 of the Contempt of Court Act provides for appeal, and by virtue of Section 17 of the Administrative Tribunals Act, the word High Court is meant tribunals only, right? So, of course, it is there. Uh, and this is nothing new. I mean, in the year 2000, there was a judgment, T. Sudhakar Prasad case. If I give that, it will be too much of information, not required. In the T. Sudhakar Prasad judgment, a three-judge bench said that any aggrieved party is at liberty to approach the Supreme Court without exercising the remedy before High Court. Right? So, if at any point of time contempt of court is issued against you by the cat, there is no need to challenge it in the High Court. You can directly go to Supreme Court. Clear? Please remember this point. Very important. Okay. Solve this question. Oh, this should have been here. I'll give you a minute. It's a longer question, so please focus and mark accordingly. Okay. Solve, please. Oh. CAT is empowered to frame its own rules of procedure. Yes or no? Yes. The decision of CAT can be challenged before Supreme Court. No. We just saw decisions, awards of CAT are challenged in High Court. Right? The contempt cases can be challenged in Supreme Court directly. And number three, CAT has no power to punish for contempt. No, it does. CAT also has the power to punish for contempt. How many statements are correct? Only one is correct. Okay. Uh, Before we move on, let me take some questions and queries. Dheeraj, please explain SLP in news. SLP is, how can it be news? Every case you see in Supreme Court nowadays is all SLP only. Special leave petition. right? See, SLP in short simply means if the High Court has not given you a certificate for appeal in Supreme Court and your case is not an important constitutional matter or a civil matter or a criminal case where a punishment is more than 10 years, then also you can go to Supreme Court and request them that Supreme Court please take up my case. That is called a special leave. Leave means permission. Special leave petition, Article 136 of the Indian Constitution. Don't worry, 90% petitions are rejected by the Supreme Court. Only big lawyers' petitions are accepted. Sorry, only important cases are accepted. My bad. Civil contempt of court, Afreen, means civil contempt of court means if you don't follow a court's order, it is called civil contempt. If you make derogatory remarks against the court, it is called a criminal contempt. Okay, difference. Shivani, sir, in case of Lok Sabha election, in case of no clear majority, returning officer draw a lot. Is that compulsory for him to vote in favor of the contestant whose name has appeared? Shivani, in one statement, you have mentioned so many strange things. From what I can grasp, so others, a question has been asked that in case in one constituency there is a tie. Tell me, here the question. In one constituency there is a tie. Two people receive the same number of votes, 1 lakh votes each. In that case, what happens? Again, election. District collector takes action. Oh, somebody is giving themselves too much of power. President decides. Governor decides. Returning officer put a lot. What is this? First declared party. Real guys, some of you were right actually. Lottery. The returning officer there will do the lottery and pick up one lottery. Draw, that is called draw of lots. Draw of lots means lottery. Okay. So if there's a tie, lottery. Simple. Okay. So please pray to your gods if there's a tie that the lottery is in your favor. Okay. That's it. You require luck everywhere. What to do? If someone quotes me in some matter, then we both booked for contempt. Priyanshu, um, see, it's possible actually. Depends on if the case is filed against both of you, then yes, both of you can book for contempt. Don't worry, contempt punishment, just 6 months of jail or 2000 years of fine. That's it. Okay. Nishant says, what if Nota got majority? Tell me, guys, times of elections. What if Nota gets a majority? Tell me. Nothing happens. From amongst the candidates, whoever gets the highest votes is the winner, right? Nota votes are discarded. But don't take it seriously, guys. Nota votes never cross 2-3%. Okay. So that's the reality. Anyway, coming to something more of a serious concern, especially for people who are in Telangana, preventive detention. Okay. So, preventive detention. What is preventive detention? I give this very simple example that whenever in your childhood days, your mom used to leave the house for a couple of hours or a few days, right? Before leaving the house, she would start thrashing you properly without you committing any mistake. Why? Because she knew that once she leaves, you'll go crazy. So she had to calm you down, right? And then you behave properly when she left. So this is called preventive punishment. without actually you having committed any offense, you are getting beaten. The same thing. If the police feels that this fellow might somehow impact the security of the state, public order maintenance, or might hamper the maintenance of supply and services of essential commodities, or impacts the defense of the country, right, or foreign affairs, etc., then they can arrest you even before you commit a crime. For example, let's assume that there is some riot in your area. Now, when the riot took place last time, you were known to give some kind of uh, derogatory speeches, adding fuel to fire to the existing riot. So the police this time says, before this fellow can say anything to add or create further nuisance, let's arrest him. Preventive detention. Arrests before crime. Normally, the detention is called punitive detention. Punitive, meaning when arrests take place after a crime has been committed. Punitive. Now, what is this preventive detention? As I said, arrest or detention in anticipation of a crime. That crime might be committed. So, in our country, under Article 22 of the Indian Constitution, there is a possibility of preventive detention, right? If you are arrested, see, normally Article 22 gives you three rights. Yes or no? Any person who is arrested, what rights does he have? Number one, right to be informed of reasons. When the police arrests you next time, ask them, come on, tell me why are you arresting me? Article 22, fundamental right. The police may thrash you, may slap you, but polity wins. Knowledge is power. Second thing, when the police arrests you, you have a right to a legal practitioner, meaning a lawyer. So, again, the police, when they arrest you, you tell them, I'll talk to my lawyer only. I want a lawyer. They may thrash you more, but polity wins. That's important. And number three, when the police arrests you, they have to take you in front of or present you in front of a judicial magistrate within 24 hours. Okay? These three things are mentioned under Article 22. This is your fundamental right. This right can be denied to people who are arrested under preventive detention. Any such laws? Or this right is denied or can be denied to enemy aliens. Who are aliens? Not Jadoo. No, no, no. Who are aliens? Aliens are foreigners. Who are enemy aliens? Enemy aliens are those people belonging to those countries with which India is officially at war. Clear? Like, say, in 1971, Pakistani citizens were enemy aliens. Not right now. Right now, India is not at war with any country. So, we have no enemy aliens right now. Okay? So, these rights can be denied to these categories of people. There are various preventive detention laws in our country. So, laws on preventive detention can be made by center or states. Tell me, laws on preventive detention can be made by center or states or both. Preventive detention is a union list subject. Entry number 9. Okay. If you read entry 9 of union list, it says preventive detention for reasons of defense, foreign affairs, and security of India. However, This is also a concurrent list subject, entry 3, which would mean security of the state, maintenance of public order, and maintenance of supplies and services of essential commodities. So, laws can be made by both center and states. Yes or no? I hope you are aware. Union list, concurrent list, which schedule am I talking about? Please tell me. Okay, great. Thankfully, schedule 7 of the Indian Constitution. Great. Okay. Now, what is the case? Why is it in news? So, how many of you are here from Telangana? Please tell me. Telangana people, type Y. Bihar, Uttarakhand, Kerala, West Bengal. Oh, I said only Telangana. Okay. Manu, Gongala, Checha, oh no, UP. Very few. So, to tell you, basically, a plea was filed by a person who was arrested, detained by the Telangana police for committing repeated offense of chain snatching. So, this fellow used to snatch the chain. He kept on doing it. He would get caught, be thrashed, again do it. So, police arrested him. And the ground that the police gave was public order. Why? Police said, to justify the detention, they said that this behavior, the act of the detenue. Who is detenue? Detenue. Detenue is a person who is detained. If you are detained by police, arrested by police, detenue. So the behavior of the detenue was actually affecting public order. Why? Because it was creating fear and panic in the minds of all the women of the area. They were so afraid, the women, that oh, these chain snatchers have come. I think there's a very interesting Tamil movie on this. Metro, if I'm not wrong, is the name of the movie, right? So people from Tamil Nadu can attest to it. I think Metro is based on the same topic of chain snatching and stuff. Oh, no Tamilians in the house. Oh, great. Okay, no problem. So this was a case. This matter was in Supreme Court. Supreme Court. Now, I'll tell you something. In the recent times, uh, we have seen Telangana government misusing this preventive detention a lot. In fact, this in 2022, MK Sriram case. Supreme Court again said that how can somebody's personal liberty be sacrificed so quickly? In fact, in the uh, Ann Buji case recently, this case of chain snatching, Supreme Court gave warning to Telangana police that don't all pass all these detention orders so quickly without applying mind. Have some common sense. Supreme Court quashed, cancelled the detention order, saying that the act of the person detained, the chain snatcher, is not hampering public order. In fact, Supreme Court said that you are saying there is fear in the minds of women. Where is the data? Are there some recorded statements? Do you have some statements of women? Do you have some video recordings where women are saying that we are afraid of these people? No. I mean, did you record any statement so as to arrive at this very subjective satisfaction that nefarious activities of this fellow have created a panic in the society? No. How did you arrest him? Randomly. So, in fact, Supreme Court said that we hope, because it has happened the third time in the last few years. So, Supreme Court said that we hope that the state of Telangana does not give any good reason once again to this court to observe anything further. In fact, in the Amina Begum case also, Supreme Court said that don't use PD laws so quickly, because Supreme Court criticized the police for the reckless use of this very old law in Telangana called Telangana Prevention of Dangerous Activities Act. So all those who get posted in Telangana can use this law to harass the people there. Telangana Prevention of Dangerous Activities Act of 1986 to detain individuals. And in fact, in this particular case, Amina Begum's husband was detained, and she had filed a habeas corpus case. Habeas corpus was filed. Tell me, habeas corpus. Habeas corpus means what? Habeas corpus means when you have been arrested by the authorities. Article 21 is getting violated. So you can file the habeas corpus where the court will issue a writ order to have the body of the person in the court. Okay? Habeas corpus. Great. So this was preventive detention. In fact, just to clarify on one more point here, uh, before we solve this question, you know, uh, we have always had this concern: law and order, public order. A law and order means the it affects few people. Law and order in its effect is confined to few individuals. Public order has a wider spectrum affecting the community or the public at large. Just to clarify, if the effect of breaking a law is confined to only a few individuals, as opposed to a wide spectrum of public, this is a law and order problem. Okay. Uh, when the act has the potentiality to disturb the tempo of life of the entire community, it is called hampering public order. This has to be understood. Impact on the society, please, not the nature of crime. No, no, no. What impact did it have on the society? Smaller impact, law and order problem. If somebody comes and thrashes you, law and order problem. But if there's a group of people who go on thrashing everybody in the society, public order problem. Impact is important. Nature of crime is not important. Okay. Anyway, solve this question from Article 22. I will launch a poll, give you a minute. Please mark the answer. How many of you innocent people did not see this phrase in my classes? Right from day 4, we used to practice these MCQs. And I used to say always, please read the question properly. Heartbreaking. Okay, don't worry. That is why we practice. Consider the following statements regarding Article 22 of the Indian Constitution. Under Article 22, an individual detained under preventive detention has the right to be produced before a magistrate within 24 hours. No. If you are arrested under preventive detention, then this right does not exist. Yes or no? Then, the provision of Article 22 applies uniformly, or the provisions apply uniformly to both Indian citizens and foreigners. No, not to enemy aliens, right? A group of foreigners may not have the same advantage. And number 3, Laws on preventive detention can be made only by the parliament is also wrong. How many statements are not correct? C. All three are wrong. By the way, I have put in a question from 2023 prelims, though only one statement relates to our topic. Let's see. Other statements, are you able to mark this answer correct or not? Let us see. Let us see. Nishan, please elaborate option 3, sir. I just elaborated option 3, right? Union list subject, concurrent list subject. Focus. Okay, guys, I'm launching the poll now for this question. Mark your answer. Can't see poll because I did not launch the poll. Now you have the poll. Are we done? Okay, 10 seconds left. Okay, a lot of you got this correct. That's great. According to the Constitution of India, the central government has a duty to protect states from internal disturbances. Yes or no? Yes. Please tell me which article is this. Let us see. Which article? Fatima, absolutely correct. Manu, Shreyank, three correct answers. Aniket, Checha, Chandan. Article 355. Okay. The Constitution of India exempts the states from providing legal counsel to people held for preventive detention of courts. This legal help is given to those who are not arrested under PDL. So 2 is correct. Now, third statement was very difficult to mark. POTA. This law no longer exists. It was repealed in 2004 only. POTA. Prevention of Terrorism Act 2002. So, what is this POTA? According to POTA, confession of the accused before the police cannot be used as evidence. I'll tell you something very interesting. We have under Article 20 right to no self incrimination, meaning whatever testimony you give in front of police is not acceptable in court. If the police arrests you, feel free to say anything. The police says, "Oh, you killed somebody." Yes, sir, 100 people. No problem. Whatever you say cannot be held in court. Simple. But POTA was such a law where if the confession was given, just a minute, guys. Oh, sorry, guys. Okay. So, as I was saying, POTA was such a unique law where if you uh, confessed about your crime in front or in the presence of a gazetted officer, SP ranked officer, that confession could be used in court against you, right? Gunjan, confession means confession. Sir, abhi you are making this an English class, but confession means apne gunah kabul karna, right? That is the meaning of confession. Okay, so this statement is wrong. Why? Because under POTA, confessions could be used as evidence. Dangerous law. Imagine the police comes and beats you, and all they do is call an SP that Sahib, please come and sit. I'm beating you in front of this person. That's sufficient. What kind of law is this? Thankfully, it is gone, but don't worry. We have lot of other laws like National Security Act 1980, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Don't worry, we have various such laws. So, those who are preparing for UPSC, today's motivation is this only: clear the exam, misuse all these laws, harass all your enemies. Okay, all those who did not behave nicely with you in your school and college, harass them completely. Please don't misuse laws. Okay, sedition is no longer there. So, thankfully, Supreme Court's intervention. Megha, what is more important, public order or law? Public order. Public order means a larger impact. If your behavior causes impact to one or two people, it's called law and order problem, small problem. That is why Constitution uses the word public order, not law and order. Public order is a very big word. Okay. Meshak, sir, what is drop of a hat? I mean, for the smallest of reasons, right? That is called drop of a hat. Okay. Dheeraj, POTA was not renewed, so it no, it was repealed. Okay, no renewal required. It was repealed. Uh, Issues, concerns. Sir, police can arrest a person under UPA. No, no, no. UPA is not a PDL. NSA is a PDL. Don't worry. National Security Act. Okay. POTA is working. POTA is not there now. It's gone. Second point. The Article 22 gives us three rights. What three rights? I mentioned here these three rights. This right to get legal help is not given to those who are arrested under PDL. Simple, right? Okay. This was statement number two. Moving on to a small point at hand, zero FIR. It was again in news. Why in news? Because again, Telangana in news recently. So officials from the Banjara Hills police said that a case was booked initially on a complaint from some Telangana Congress committee member, B. Srinivas Rao, I think, complained. And what did he complain? He said that KT Ramarao, former minister in the former TRS, sorry, BRS party government, he had made some statements at Telangana Bhavan about who is this person? Revant Reddy. He is a chief minister of Telangana. So he said that CM Revant Reddy is extorting 2500 crore rupees from the public, including builders, businessmen, etc., and giving to its party high command at central level. In fact, he also said that this fellow is now going to join BJP after Lok Sabha elections. So an FIR was filed. FIR, a zero FIR was filed. So what is an FIR firstly? Please, what is FIR? FIR basically means, see, firstly, for FIR, there is no definition anywhere of what means or what is the definition of FIR. FIR is simply the first information report. It is initiation of police action. FIR is the first step in a criminal investigation. Once it is filed, the police are legally bound to start investigating the facts and circumstances of the case. It basically contains information about the crime which was committed, including the nature of the crime, the place, the time when it occurred, and description of all the events as the complainant or the informant says, that how the crime took place, who came to your house, who slapped you, who stole all the money, right? And it is for cognizable offenses, right, where the police have the authority to make an arrest without a warrant and start an investigation with or without the permission of the court. Murders, robberies, theft, rioting, serious crimes. And filing of FIR is a legal requirement under section 154 of CRPC, right? If the informant if the information about the commission is being given by the informant orally, the police must write it down. And in fact, if you are the informant, the person giving the information, the informant has a right to demand that the information be recorded by the police and be read to them, and you can get a copy of that FIR also, photocopy, free of charge. Clear? Now, what is a zero FIR? This zero FIR, the definition again in loose terms would be that it's an FIR which is registered at any police station, irrespective of crime location or jurisdiction. So I hope you are aware that every police station has a jurisdiction, an area of influence. Okay. So let's say this is a particular place and there are three police stations here. Police station 1, 2, 3. Now, if a crime is committed here, you will go to this police station. If a crime is committed in this area, you go to this police station. If a crime is committed in this area, you go to this police station. But if a crime is committed at any of these places, you have a right to immediately go to the nearest police station, which might not be in the jurisdiction area. For example, let us assume now that this police station is here. Okay, and this police station is here. Okay, the crime was committed somewhere here. Now this is very close to you. A crime was committed, you ran to the nearest police station, but sadly you come under the jurisdiction of this police station. Rightfully you should have gone to this police station, but zero FIR is the beauty of this entire problem. The origin of this comes from the Justice Verma committee report, which was in response to Nirbhaya gang rape case in Delhi. Right? I hope you are aware that the Nirbhaya gang rape took place on a moving bus. Difficult to spot the location of the crime. So, if a crime is committed, you can go to the nearest police station, irrespective of crime location, irrespective of jurisdiction, and then the transfer process is what? After registration, the zero FIR is then, once this police station accepts this complaint, writes it down, it will transfer it to the concerned police station. Okay, then the investigation can commence. And normally what happens when you go and complain, there's a diary in which they will give numbers and all. Zero FIR is not given any number, hence the word zero FIR. FIRs have numbers, number 1, number 2, number 3, 44, 45, 48. Zero FIR would mean No number is given here because ultimately this police station is going to inquire, not this police station. So right now I'm accepting your complaint, but I'll transfer this to the uh, respective police station within whose jurisdiction the crime was committed. Are we clear, everyone? Police chowki and police station are the same thing. Okay, Muhammad, but sir, in the Pink movie, police was denied to. Sir, if you are getting information from movies, then life is very challenging. No, no. And also, to tell you frankly, if you don't know your rights, the police is going to misuse its power and authority. That's sadly the reality also. I'm not denying that this will not happen. This can definitely happen. Okay. So, as I said, what is the purpose? The purpose is to eliminate the jurisdictional excuses by the police. The police will give excuse. No, no, don't come here. Go to that police station. Not my concern. So, to prevent all this nonsense, to ensure that the victims do not have to face any bureaucratic obstacles in filing complaints, etc., this concept has been introduced. TRAA, as I just said, police chowki and police station are the same thing, right? When they will take action? When they will take action? Whenever they receive the complaint. Simple. So this police station will receive your complaint, will transfer it to the correct police station, and then now this police station will take the action, inquire, investigate, arrest people, etc. Clear? Zero FIR. Yes, yes, Ram, you can get the copy of FIR. Don't worry. Sir, then every FIR filed under zero FIR? No, it's only for cognizable cases and all. And why would you now, if a crime is committed here, why would you go there? You'll go to the nearest police station. That is the whole idea. Yes, urgent heinous crimes. CRPC, not IPC, CRPC. CRPC is the procedural part of law. IPC only pronounces punishments. Okay? Solve this question. Let us see how many of you are paying attention in the class. 1 minute. Mark your answer. Siddhant, only for cognizable offenses. For petty offenses, I mean, why? What is the urgency? You can go to the jurisdictional police station, right? It can be filed otherwise also. Let's say you are in a moving train and something wrong happened. Something was stolen from you. You cannot exactly pinpoint when it was stolen. In those cases, it is possible. Okay, a lot of you got this correct. Great. Zero FIR can be filed at any police station irrespective of the jurisdiction where the crime has occurred. Yes. Zero FIR is sequentially numbered in the register of the police station where it is initially filed. No. Zero FIR is not numbered sequentially in the register of the police station. It is called zero FIR because it is initially recorded without a formal number. It is transferred to the correct police station, hence zero. This is wrong. The primary purpose of zero FIR is to enable immediate police action without the delays associated with the jurisdictional issues. Is correct, right? Okay, so how many are correct? B, only 2. Now, statement 2 not understood. Yes, Dheeraj, same Justice Verma, the collegium judge. Uh, Muskan, when you go to a police station where you are, which is not the correct police station, I should say, or which is not the police station which controls the area in which the crime was committed. Like in this example, if you have gone to this police station, you are in the jurisdiction of this police station, but you have gone to this police station. Now they will not give a number, they will not register it as a number, because if they register it in the number here, then they have to start the inquiry. That would be wrong. So they mark it as 0 FIR. Then it is sent to this police station, and then in all the list of complaints, they'll mark some number, let's say 167, and your complaint. Clear? Okay. So not sequentially numbered. Coming to some news on elections, just a small point on Suvidha portal. Shreyank, so if the case is ultimately transferred, then what is the benefit? The benefit is that you are able to recollect the entire scenario. You inform the police immediately. If the police sees that the matter is very serious, they can inform the concerned police station immediately and on wireless, and the action can be taken immediately. Statement is recorded immediately. It all happens quickly. Okay, that is the advantage. Okay, coming to Suvidha portal. So, what is this Suvidha portal? A Suvidha portal basically is technological solution, so as to say, developed by the ECI, the Election Commission of India, to ensure a level playing field, upholding the democratic principles of free and fair elections. Right. So basically, this portal has streamlined the process of obtaining and acting upon requests for permissions for various things. Right. So, what kind of permissions? If you want to organize a rally, log in here. See, nomination online also possible. Online permission is required for rallies, for setting up party offices, for door-to-door canvassing, for video vans, for helicopters, etc. So when you want permission from Election Commission on anything during elections, you can log in and get permission online. Okay, so just in a span of around 3 weeks since the elections were announced, the Suvidha portal received around 73 to 74,000 requests in 20 days. Okay, it is not meant for us, it is meant for parties. If you are a candidate, or if you are a party worker, agent, etc., then you can log in there and get permission. So it is accessible online. It allows political parties. So as I was saying, 74,000 permissions were sought, requests were filed, of which almost 60% were approved also. It happens quickly. Okay. Then see, the idea is that you have to understand and also uh, recognize the importance of election campaign period, where parties and candidates engage in activities to reach out to the voter. So Suvidha portal actually caters to a very diverse range of permission requests, right? And it's a simple model, first in first out principle. Your request comes, they look into it. Second request comes, look into it. Simple. Organizing rallies, door-to-door canvassing, helicopters, obtaining vehicle permits, distributing pamphlets, various things. And it also allows political parties and candidates to submit permissions very conveniently from anywhere, anytime. By the way, offline submissions are also allowed. Don't feel that this is now online only, sir. Where is the fairness? No, no. Offline is also allowed. Offline is already available. It is for the more tech savvy people or the ones who want urgent permission. This is done. So this portal is actually supported by a very robust IT system managed by some nodal officers across the various state departments, which ensures that it's efficient. The processing is very fast, and it also has a companion application, mobile app also available, both on iOS and Android, where you can track your request status in real time. That's also there. Okay. And To be very fair, this platform not only improves, if you see, the efficiency of the process of elections, it also ensures transparency and accountability through features like real-time tracking, time-stamped submissions, SMS updates, and the entire database of all the permission, which can also help the election commission in scrutinizing the expenditure, because there is also something called expenditure limit, right, which a single individual candidate cannot exceed. Yes or no? What is the expenditure limit for Lok Sabha elections? Tell me. What is the expenditure limit for Lok Sabha elections? 95 lakhs for smaller constituencies, for larger constituencies, 75 for smaller constituencies. Very good. The upper limit is 95 lakh rupees. Though we know very well how effectively it is followed, right? So let's not discuss on that. Solve this question. Mark the answer, please. I'll give you a minute to solve this. Done? Oh, a lot of you got this correct. That's great. Suvidha portal allows political parties and candidates to submit permission requests for electoral processes both online and offline. Is correct. It is supported by a robust IT platform managed by nodal officers. This is also correct. The portal has a companion app as well, which is available both on iOS and Android platform. For what? For real time tracking of the status of submitted requests is also correct. Right answer is C, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now, one more. See, Dheeraj and Komal, and for others, you can enter information here, get registered, and choose the offline approval. In that case, database gets collected, right? So that offline mode can also be chosen on this app, and you can go offline. That can also be done. Vote from home facility in the Lok Sabha elections. So this is nothing new. Acha, before that, a small point. Types of voters. How many types of voters do we have in the country? Very quickly, tell me. Number one, general voters. People like you and me, general voters. We go on the polling booth, we cast our vote. Second one, service voters, people who are in the armed forces or police working outside the state, or government of India employees working outside the country, those who become IFS officers. You will go to a foreign country. Let's say somebody here becomes an IFS officer, goes to Pakistan as a posting. Service voter. For service voters, you have either voting personally on the booth, or so for general voters on the booth or at the booth, booth voting, or you can also choose postal ballot, or you can also choose what? Proxy voting. Somebody else votes on your behalf. Proxy. And then we have the NRIs. Who are these NRIs? NRIs, those people who go to a foreign country and they come back with a changed fake accent. NRIs. Those who always have a Bisleri bottle in their hand. NRIs, non-resident Indians. Okay, they are also Indian citizens. They have right now no option but to vote on the booth, or they have a concept of e-postal ballot, but it is yet to be introduced, yet to be launched. So NRIs have to come back home to vote. Okay. The fourth one, since 2019, we have this absentee voters. Who are these absentee voters? So, absentee voters are people who are senior citizens. Okay. Second, absentee voters are people who are persons with disabilities, PWDs. Okay. Absentee voters are those who are working in some essential service like metro, railways, healthcare system, etc. Recently, the election commission said media persons also, those people who are covering the polling day activities, they will also be included. New addition. These people, of course, have an option of postal ballot. Are we clear? Postal ballot. So, just to tell you, postal ballot is available for people aged 85 and above. It was 80 earlier, now 85. PWDs with not less than 40% disability, media persons, people working in essential services, and also service voters. But mind you, service voters have an additional advantage of also opting for a proxy voting, meaning you can ask your family member to vote instead of you, like in your college days, proxy attendance. Similarly, you can ask your spouse to go and vote. Now, there is no guarantee that the spouse will vote according to your wishes. You might be a die-hard fan of Modi ji, but your spouse finds Rahul Gandhi cute. They might go and press the Congress button. You never know. That is a relationship of trust. That's your personal problem. We can't help all that. But this is the option. Simple and clear. TRAA, those who study abroad. You are an NRI, come back and vote. What else? What is the meaning of postal ballot? This is a postal ballot. This is being shown to her. Postal ballot simply means you are given a form where the names of all the candidates are mentioned. Tick one, fold it, send it via courier to the concerned office of the election commission where you have been told to send, whichever constituency you belong to. That is called postal ballot. By post, you send your ballot paper by post. Postal ballot. Are we clear? So, now coming to who are being given the chance to vote from home. So, currently, vote from home has been given for senior citizens, and PWDs. Persons with disabilities and senior citizens 85 and above. Yeah, one more thing. This vote from home is not the first time that it's happening. It has happened earlier during assembly elections. So it is not that the election commission has no idea. It is trying it for the first ever time. No, no, no. They have done this. In fact, it has been tried during various elections in select regions, allowing the PWDs and senior citizens to vote from home. So ECI has increased the age this year from 80 to 85 years. And in the past 11 assembly elections, the scheme has helped, let's say, around 3.3 lakh people to vote. 3.3 lakh people. Now, see, what is the procedure? You have to download Form 12D. Form 12D is available on the Election Commission's website. Okay? This is a form you download for postal ballot also. Download this form. You can search for this form right now and get this form on the website. Now, you have to file the application within 5 days. Okay. Also, what happens is that when it comes to this request you have filed, that I want to choose vote from home. Of course, you have to present the proper documents for it of your PWD or your senior citizen proof, right? So this is done. Now, uh, once you have filed it, what happens? Of course, before the date of polling only, we can't come exactly on that date. Before the date of polling, two polling officials who are accompanied by a videographer and a security person will come to your house. Will come to your house. Something like this will come to your house. Security person, two people, they come to your house and they oversee the ballot voting process. The voter will receive you'll get a message also intimation about the date and the rough time of visit via SMS or through the post. And this will be done twice. They come once, let's say you're not available in the house, they'll come again. The polling team will schedule a second visit, and if the elector fails to be at the given address the second time also, then what happens? Then, sorry, further visit will not be entertained. Voter will then subsequently be ineligible to vote. Don't think that now can I go and vote on the polling booth. No, no, you have chosen the option of vote from home. You can't choose polling booth now. And if you're absent from home, chance gone. Simple. Clear? So we have to understand that if you don't, they will try twice. If you're not available, chance is gone. And during the visit also, the polling team is expected to follow a proper protocol, which is under the conduct of election rules of 1961. Each team of polling officers is required to issue the postal ballot to the absentee voter assigned to it, brief the elector, the voter, about the procedure, right? And make sure that the elector votes free from any influence. Of course, if there is somebody who has blindness or somebody who has some physical infirmity, you can have a companion along with you to vote at the home also, right? Otherwise, you have to vote on your own. Complete secrecy is maintained. This is called vote from home. It is one of those extra steps being taken by the election commission to ensure that people turn out to vote. But you must have seen the very shoddy voter turnout in almost 100 uh, Lok Sabha constituencies where the elections took place in the first round, right? So that's there. Anyway, how would the officer identify such a person? No, no, you have to download the form and send it to the election commission's office. And with all the proof, they will come to your house. They will have your photograph, Aadhaar, etc. Match the face. Of course, Aadhaar photo and your face will never match. That is there. I hope you are aware. The worst ever photograph of any human being can be on Aadhaar only, right? And this will happen before the date of polling, actual polling. So that is the only matching done. As we say, nobody looks as bad as their Aadhaar photo, nor as good as their Instagram profile. The reality is somewhere in between. See, there are two problems with this. One is the lack of awareness amongst voters. They don't know that this is an option available to them. In fact, it is said that lot of senior citizens want to go to the polling booth to vote, but even for PWDs, they don't know. That's one problem. So, Election Commission has said that we are trying to spread information far and wide on this particular point. Okay. Second is that lack of staff, because see, three people have to come: two polling officials and one security personnel. In fact, there is recorded evidence of this in the Karnataka assembly elections that took place recently, last year. Almost 1 lakh person with disabilities and older electors out of the 18 lakh had chosen home vote, that postal ballot method. Many people complained that nobody came. We had chosen for it, we had applied for it, nobody came to our house. So that's also a concern. Nobody has come to the house to take your vote. You applied for it. And since you applied for it now, you can't vote in the polling booth also. This is there. So, see, I mean, such issues will happen because of the immensely large population, but we are trying to correct these demerits. Anyway, that's it. Solve this question. The last question from the last topic, please. Oh, yes, yes, yes. That is me only. Uh, yeah, I have started posting 5 questions every day on YouTube under my. This is some. It seems like a promotion. No, no promotion. It is just to support people who want some questions to solve. I post 5 questions every day on my YouTube, right? So, in case somebody is interested, like somebody said that they are solving it, good for you. Uh, oh, 3940. Let's see. The vote from home facility is being extended for the first time in the history of elections in India. This is wrong. As I said, it has been extended previously also in the legislative assembly elections. This is wrong. Second one, eligible voters for the vote from home facility must have a disability certification, yes, of not less than 40. This is correct. Without this, not possible. Once the vote from home option is chosen, eligible voters are still allowed to vote at their respective. No, 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 no. Once you choose this, you cannot choose any other option. It's gone. How many statements are correct? A. Only one is correct. Okay. Uh, that is it for today, guys. It's done. The session is over. Priya, Priya, we have options for offline attempts even at the Suvidha portal. My grandfather voted from home. He gave his vote on a paper which is sealed in envelope. That is called postal ballot. Okay, that ballot is a ballot paper, and because it was put in an envelope, postal ballot. So you had to do it on your own. But nowadays, the election commission officials will come to your house and give the paper to you. That becomes vote from home postal ballot. Your grandfather got a call from election officer. He must have gotten the call because he was already a registered absentee voter last time. But for others, you have to fill the form 12D. It is not automatic. Yes, yes, Priyanshu. How to apply? Go on the website of. Don't go simply Google search for this form 12D. Okay, this really. Huh. Okay. Form 12D, Google search for it and done. You'll get to know. Yeah, the form is easy. You have to mention your name, your address. Your in case you are a senior citizen, you have to give your proof, and you also have to, in case you are a PWD, you have to give what? Give your disability certificate. TRAA, if officers coming at home, all members cannot. Arey, come on here. It is meant only for a few people. Okay, right? So current affairs classes are not on regular basis. Give your guys. My name is Anubhav Saransh, and Shivani, please check my question. Guys, wait. I'll check your question. Don't worry. One by one. Don't panic. Let's see. Uh, Ramavat, not responding. What was the concern, Ramavat? Ask a question. Nikhil, same name. Parth, sir, can lazy persons apply for vote from home? As of now, we don't have such an option. You can contact the EC officials. They will let you know. For postal ballot, no, Kennedy, you need it. If you are an absentee voter, right, it is required. If you are a service voter, then not required. Shivani, that's what I said. Not possible. Once you have chosen for vote from home option, or you have chosen postal ballot as a service voter or a proxy vote, you cannot vote at the polling booth. It's not possible. You can choose only one. Uh, Guys, one by one. No problem. Anjana M, let me see your question. Anjana, ask your question again. It's lost in the all these questions. That's all for me, guys. Jai Hind for today. I'll just take up questions now. In case you want to leave, you can leave. Go enjoy life. Live life king size. Ramawat, sir, I paid for option. Sir, I don't really know. I mean, I have no idea of such things. What to do? The departments are different. I can listen to your problem, but I can't offer a solution. Okay, leaderboard for today. Let us see the leaderboard. Show the leaderboard. Toppers. Oh, Ayush, Shavik, Deepesh, Gokul Krishnan, Femina. 5 toppers for today. Great. Then we have Himanshu, Dhyana, Purva, Rakesh, Nikhil, Basaya, Karan Anand, Govind Rajulu, Shreyank, Nikhil Garg, and Vidhi at 6. And then we have Dheeraj, Nikhil, Bhavna, Rachna, Sana, etc. at rank 17. Okay, great. I hope you know, in my class I always say that to all those who have topped, keep a photograph of this. Whenever we meet, I owe you a chocolate. Definitely. Okay. Oh, some session. It might have happened. See, in fact, for the polity session also, it was supposed to take place, I think, on 18th, I believe. There was some family issue. I could not take the classes. It was postponed to today. These things happen. Why PWD more than 40? Arre, Vaishnavi, no, no. At least 40% disability has to be there. So 40% or more. then you can vote from home. Okay. No, sir, I don't take IR. I only teach polity governance, sir. Because, sir, in the last question, our second option, it is said must have disability of more than 40%. Yes, yes. No, no, senior citizen age of 85 or above. Okay. Uh, no, Jagdish, I don't see that having any negative effect. Please take the exam. Ramavat, I have lost a tooth. Can I come under, sir? At least don't make fun of PWD category, sir. है ना? We never punch below. We always punch above when we crack a joke, right? That's the golden rule of comedy. Make fun of people who are better placed than you. Never make fun of people who are not at the same level or below you. Never. And no, my UPSC dear, you can't opt for just PS. It's PSIR, sir. What is this here? Jagdish, no problem. Please make Telegram channel for guidance. Arey sir, there is no time for Telegram channel. It is so difficult to post 5 questions on my YouTube channel. That is again a challenge. It's okay, sir. We have sufficient resources. How much will you follow? Just follow the standard pattern. I think you have taken my classes also. That will be sufficient, right? Any other doubts, guys? Or for a broken tooth, Ramavat? Really? Oh, great. Fatima, in case you want to, you can get this information by filing an RTI to ECI, or else you can get this also on this website of ADR. ADR usually collects all this information. Association for Democratic Reforms. ADR. TRAA. Anubhav Saransh. Polities, all clear, great. No, no, Himanshu. It's a very tedious task. Guys, there seems to be some issue with respect to the, I think, the mentor helpline. The software is down, it seems. So we are looking, I mean, the concerned team is all up for it. It might take some time. This is what I've heard. So don't panic. It might take some. Eventually, it's all about the system, right? If things falter, then we have to understand it. You know? Kennedy, PM Bakshi and Lakshmikant are two different books. PM Bakshi is the Bear Act. That's a mandatory thing for every person in the country. Forget UPSC aspirants. It's a constitution. Lakshmikant is basically a book on polity. It has more topics, different things. It's a proper book. PM Bakshi is not a book for the examination per se. You can get information, but you need way more than that because the paper is not Indian constitution. It's Indian polity, which has other things also. My UPSC cutoff, yes, of course, the great cutoff in prelims last year. I hope you are aware. The cutoff was how much? 75 marks, right? This does not mean that you just attempt 80 marks question and come back. No, we never know. Your aim has to be scoring around 100, 110 marks. Okay, that should be your target. Be on the safer side. Uh, Between these two books, yes, of course, Kennedy. Guys, all doubts over. Should we end our session now? Or do we have some other concerns? Which polity UPSC preparation, life in general. No, Ramawat, no RTI for UPSC. UPSC has said in the Supreme Court in 2012 it will not entertain RTIs. It has been accepted. No RTIs to be entertained on your answer sheet or mains answer key. Simple. What else? Yes, Pari, you can apply for it. Priya, it depends on the source. If you're studying on your own, it should take somewhere around 200 hours of study. If you are taking a coaching class, like we have around 90 hours of study. So that is the first time. Of course, if you're studying on your own from a book, it'll take way longer a time, more time, definitely. That's the uh no, Dhyana, we had various ranks, but we are yet to publish those things. Nikhil, I mean, what do I say about those stupid comments on by our politicians? I mean, that is useless. See, I mean, they know very well that they're going to lose the elections. That is why all these random comments of wealth redistribution, etc., which has no realistic idea. I mean, look at CPI's manifesto or CPM's manifesto or CPI's manifesto. They talk about no eliminating all the nuclear weapons. Are you serious? India, India, surrounded by such beautiful neighbors like best friends Pakistan and China, and you have the agenda of reducing nuclear weapons. What do we say? So most parties have realized that this time there is no scope. Ghulam Mustafa, I don't see a real problem with ECI's performance. I mean, I don't think that is correct. It's performing pretty decent, right? See, regarding Ramawat, sir, you always talk like left wing supporter. I mean, people who have taken my class know how much I have a disdain for communists in general and left wing in general in our country. That is one thing that I cannot be, held guilty of supporting the current left wing liberals in our country. But I mean, overall, the idea of supporting the poorest of the poor is very important. In fact, in your service rules also, it is mentioned as one of your duty, right? The commitment towards serving the needs of poorest of the poor. uh, yes, Siddhant, I think that is sufficient for the time being. The PDFs, more than enough. Ghulam Mustafa, go for it. That would be a great thing. Sir, Priyanshu, I think that when it comes to the great Magsaysay Award winners and journalists like them, I mean, they love to coin terms. Before 2014, they were getting the advantageous position from the then ruling party. Since the current ruling party does not support them, so they are calling these press people names. Most of the press are either complete sellout or at one hand or the other. That's how it is. So calling somebody a Godi media or Darbari media makes no sense. Sir, today do we have modern history classes from schedule? I have no idea, sir. Avni, no idea. Oh, my UPSC. Right to privacy, Article 21. Okay, guys, I think that's enough. Let's meet in the next class whenever it happens. And I hope that I see some names from here who take the exam this year in the list, and also in future. My best wishes. That is all for me, guys. We'll meet in the next webinar or whatever class is scheduled. Till then, that's all for me. Jai Hind.